Yo, 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 yo. I don't know why this thing is just not unblocking, but here we go. What's going on with y'all? Welcome to the 1-6 Scale Man. Proudly presents You Know What It Is. And you know what today is. It is Comic Book Talk with Friends. It is your boy, LR Leo Rockwell. And I'm so glad to actually have all of you guys here. It's going to be a great show. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Definitely on our way to 4,000 subscribers. So only you can make that happen. So thank you all for basically being here. Got a lot to cover. Now, there is no artist feature this week. Purposely, we didn't do an artist feature. I didn't do an artist feature this week because there's a lot to cover. There's a lot of shenanigans going on right now in the realm of, comics and cinematic world as well. Few comments by your boy Bob Iger we're going to actually talk about tonight, and things that I don't really agree with, like just certain things. Two things maybe I don't agree with, but I have a different take on it. You know what I mean? Also, we're going to talk about the casting, how the casting has been ramped up for both Deadpool and the Superman film, Superman Legacy. We're also going to talk about Iman Eslani, who's basically now going to be a co-writer for the Miss Marvel series. And just wondering, like, you know what I mean? Those who are basically comic heads and actors should, it's a question to basically throw out there to all you guys, should actors get involved with writing? And, basically, if they have the knowledge, why not? But if they don't, whatever. But she's clearly a comic head. She has knowledge behind it. And we already know that they're taking this character a totally different space, but basically taking it back to origins, if you know what I mean, because of the original intent. But we're going to actually talk about that as well, and a host of other things. But definitely I can't do it by myself without the crew. So let me just basically bring them all in here. First up, we're going to bring in Jedi Pimp Smack, Baby Powder, Smack of the Week. What's going on with you, brother?
What's up, man?
Who'd you
I'm mad
smack?
as hell. Just broke my damn glasses like 10 minutes ago.
Oh
Oh,
man,
well.
who'd you smack? You smacked
Uh,
somebody. That's why I did. You did
nah. She upstairs. That'll happen later. Don't
it.
worry. Don't worry. You know.
Word. Anyway,
What's,
man, thank you for being here, brother.
no doubt. No doubt. No
As
doubt.
always. Next up, we got the Room Raider. None other than V the Room Raider. What's going on with you, bro?
Chilling, man. Had a crazy busy day. Looking forward to being home now and unwinding, talking comics with the amigos, man, for sure.
Hell yeah, man. Definitely so glad to have you here as always, brother. And last but
Thank you.
not least, we got Mr. Butt Naked in the building. What's going on with you, brother?
It's been a really good week, man. Went to see Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part One. God damn, the title's a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, went to see that movie. Really enjoyed it. And then I did some filming at a comic book signing at my favorite shop, and picked up some art and some good books that I'll share tonight. So yeah, it was a good week.
Definitely, brother. So good to have you here, man, as always. And so good to have all of you guys out here with us in the chat as we kind of commence into the conversation. So definitely I want to go ahead and recognize everybody that's out there with us tonight. We got Paul Morales in the building. Thank you for being here. Docinator, the Booty King. Amber May is out there in the building. Thank you for being here. We got Mikey Lito, my bro, Mikey Lito. Thank you for being here tonight, brother. We got Louis Labitz, who actually got some good news. He got some good news. That Amazing Spider-Man figure is shipping soon. And he actually showed me, it's going to be shipping real soon. They basically sent him out a reminder. So shout out to him. There's going to be some things happening this summer. They're trying to scoot out everything. We got Renz Talentino out there in the building with us as well, man. Thank you for being here. As always, Bendu, Wendu, and a host of others that will be kind of skirting through here. But yes, we got some things that we are going to actually cover tonight. Now, again, man, like, we know what's kind of going on right now with the strike, and how that is actually affecting. Now, here's the thing that, and people have to understand that it's not only just basically affecting actors, writers in the cinematic universe, but also it's affecting the complexity of what's going on in comics as well. Because there were reports that even they were reaching out to writers comic writers just to see if they can get some influences and stuff like that. And writers were like, nah, like we stand in solidarity with those who are on the line that don't have jobs, and they kind of stepped away from it. So, I mean, when it's not a sign of desperation. I don't want to call it a sign of desperation, but it's like, yo, like that's a smack in the face to those who you've hired to do a job that you refuse to pay. You know what I mean? And my again, harkening back to like some comments that were made. We'll start with the comments first, by Bob Iger about the cinematic universe. When it comes to Marvel, and how he basically feels as though it's pretty much it's overstretched in a sense, in his words, oversaturated with content that they need to slow down, and basically that the streaming world was responsible for the lackluster success of the cinematic universe. Now, I have some feelings on that, because you can say that, but the problem is it's not the saturation. We've said this before. The problem is the writing. If you don't write well, if you're not basically, if you don't have a film or a show that connects well with the fans, if there's no intent on making a good product, you can't blame it and just say, no, it's oversaturation. Because say, for instance, if there wasn't a lot of Disney Plus shows, and mind you, not every Disney Plus show was bad. You know what I mean? I enjoyed Loki. I enjoyed Moon Knight. I enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I enjoyed WandaVision. You know what I mean? I enjoyed Miss Marvel. You know what I mean? I am pleasantly enjoying right now Secret Invasions. You know what I mean? So there are some things out there that have been successful. It's just you can't blame that on the lackluster or lack thereof of content that we actually got from the cinematic universe. So for him to make that comment, I was just like, I understand where it's coming from. And I understand that, like, also that's kind of a big smack in the face to Bob Paycheck or Chapek. I say Paycheck for a reason, but Chapek. But at the same time, I'm like, I have two. It's like a catch-22 with that situation, double-edged sword, and I kind of want to play devil's advocate on that, because you can't always say it's just because there's an oversaturation. There's a lot more going on with that. Vinny, I'm gonna start with you first, man. What did you think about that comment that was made, man?
I think if you go out to dinner, 7 days a week, and have bad service 2 of those days, you can't say that the restaurant industry is dying. You're having too many people conflate burnout of bad versus burnout of genre. Like if you put out as much content as they did and everything hit, then it'd be, they'd be celebrating and popping bottles of champagne about how great everything was going, because that's what they had the luxury of doing when they were putting out tons of content and hitting on all cylinders, not many years ago. So they weren't complaining about burnout or people, feeling like there's too much. So it's really disingenuous, I feel like, and it's kind of insulting to the fans' intelligence to say that once you start putting out product that the fans are complaining about, instead of taking a look in the mirror and saying, hey, we're kind of pushing some stuff out without really making sure it's high quality. And instead of taking the onus and saying, hey, fans love seeing all kinds of different, product and different kind of, superheroes, and we're doing all this different stuff. Let's make sure that what we put out is good, product. Instead of taking that responsibility, they're putting the onus on burnout and kind of executive decisions as far as the quantity. But think about how many of us, buy, 10, 20. Some of us get up, more than that. Some people read 20 plus, 30 plus titles a month. And if those are 20 good titles, then you're enjoying 20 different. Think about how many people watch so many different television shows, and no one ever goes, "Oh, well, I'm watching two." If it's good, people will enjoy it and they'll be
Mhm.
happy about it. The
Mhm.
problem to me is not burnout of the genre. It's not too many Disney Plus shows, not too many films. It's that the ones that aren't, doing well, the ones that aren't great, they are very, fans are very vocal about it. And
Mhm.
it's a lot easier to point fingers than take a look in the mirror and say, hey, some of these shows were just not really ready to be rolled out. And there's also the uh, a whole other aspect of it, in that just like with comic books, they've started to roll out so many different types of shows to appeal to different types of audiences. Just like how there's
Mm-hmm.
different comic books for different people too. And what they fail to realize is that it used to be everything that they put out was super mainstream, like your big, your Captain Americas and your Spideys and your Hulks and stuff that virtually every fan of comic books has like some kind of vested interest in those main characters. And now they're branching out into lesser known characters to appeal to wider audiences. You got Shang-Chi to try to appeal to that market. You got She-Hulk to try to appeal to a female demographic. And then of course the people who there's going to be people who watch stuff and say, "Oh, wait, this isn't for me," and then they're going to complain about it.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of people who are, I mean, they're putting out a lot of broad content to appeal to a lot of different people, and you have a lot of people, instead of saying, "Hey, Moon Knight wasn't for me," that's cool though. They're saying,
Yeah.
"Nah, this show sucks. Why are y'all putting out so many shows?" Instead of
Yeah.
just realizing, guess what you could do? You could just skip. You could just skip Secret Invasion if it ain't for you because it's too slow. You
Yeah.
can wait for the next round. Wait for Loki if it ain't for you. Guess what? You can do that. You don't have. You can Wikipedia. You can just do it like Secret Invasion explained in 5 minutes
Yeah.
when it's
Yeah.
over. Instead of saying, "Oh, they're putting out too many shows. Why is Secret Invasion a thing? Or why is She-Hulk a thing?" It's not, and not everything's gonna be for everybody. What they're doing now is putting out a lot of
If
different
they were
stuff. to try
comic
to
heads, they
appeal.
would know the concept of a pull list.
It's exactly what they need to
Exactly.
realize, is that they went out of their way to make a broad range of genres for different people to appeal to different tastes. And then when there's people who bitch because that taste isn't for them, instead of saying, "Hey, you're gonna have people who don't realize that they're not the main character in the world. The world doesn't revolve around them. There's going to be shit that doesn't work for them and works for other people. Let
Yeah.
people enjoy things."
Yeah.
That's not to say that some of the shit isn't, not that great, but that it's not burnout. It's not at
Yeah.
all.
It
So
definitely isn't burnout. And that's the thing. And here's, bro, it always happens without fail. Is that you let there be a drought where there's minimal content and nothing being shown,
yes,
then the voices will heighten and people will be talking about, well, damn, Disney ain't putting out shit now, like this, that, and the third. There's nothing going on.
or
You know what I
imagine if
mean?
there was only one or two shows a year and they sucked. Think about how mad people would be then.
He would be upset, pissed off.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
now, if a show sucks, it's okay. You got another one coming in 3 months, 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
If a
Mm-hmm.
movie
Yeah.
sucks, you got three more coming this year.
Yeah.
This is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
Um,
It's a good thing to not deviate and say that. And that's the thing, is the one thing you said is take ownership, bro. Take
Mhm.
ownership of the simple fact that you aren't, number one, their executive influences have been widespread through Disney. We
Mhm.
know that.
Mhm.
And they have tempered expectations of a director to basically have their own vision based off of even sometimes source material. So they have to understand that when you're saying lackluster, or when you're saying that too much content on Disney Plus is hindering the cinematic universe. How is that when basically some of the content that you have on Disney Plus is better than the cinematic universe?
Exactly.
So you can't
Most-
really compare the two.
I'd say a very good portion of it is
Yeah,
better.
Mhm.
Like in
it
in
is.
the entire Phase 4, you look at the television side versus the film side, and by
Yeah.
Mhm.
far the
Yeah.
television side
been better.
outshone.
Then the cinematic. Yep.
It's been outshining. It's been doing. What do you think about it, Jedi Pimp?
Yep. Now, see, I was going to hit on when we talked about last week a little bit how they're telling the directors and writers like not to read the source material or stay away from it. And we said that's good and bad. You know, that has good and bad outcomes when they read the source material sometime and misinterpret it or don't use it, or use it the wrong way. But it's like when you're telling these writers and directors not to use it at all or stay away from certain things, this is what you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you can't, all we want is a good story, but at least have aspects of the source material or something, pieces of the source material. Like, I love Secret Invasion, and they said, "Buddy didn't read the comic book at all." I'm like, damn, but it's coming out fucking good. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we were saying last week. Like, you can hit or miss, but being somebody that is not a true comic book head, that being a director or a writer, you're just going off of what some of these execs want you to put out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the whole Iger thing, like, I'm like, well, he came out Marvel and Star Wars, like saying like it's. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Now he coming out Star Wars, they need to chill out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like, chill, bro. Like, at least the Star Wars stuff has been really good. They haven't had any misses so far. People don't like season 3 of Mando. Okay, I get that, but I loved it. I don't give a fuck. Like,
I did too. I did too.
Some people complained about it, whatever. But it is what it is. Because they were saying that the brass, was getting involved with the writing, and Filoni was getting kind of pissed off. There's rumors. I don't know if this fact, but I'm just telling you that just rumor wise or what I was hearing. That he was getting kind of mad and frustrated. Like, damn, they kept him getting in the process of him writing and putting stuff out, and that's why we got the season 3 the way we did. But like I said, I loved it. I don't know what the complaints are or whatever, but so he's saying like about saving money and cutting costs and all that stuff. So what are you gonna try to do? Sell some of the stuff to your IPs back to Netflix? Because wasn't Clone Wars on Netflix first? I think before they had it.
Clone Wars,
right?
Clone Wars was, I think,
it wasn't on Netflix. It was a Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network show.
When Disney
the
bought
OG
them,
one.
When Disney bought them, they ended Clone Wars, and then shortly after they started Rebels. But that was still on like Disney H or XD or whatever, like their channel and stuff. It wasn't until after that, during the pandemic, when they launched Disney Plus, and then that stuff moved over, and they,
But he's talking about like trying to sell some of those IPs out again. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're gonna try to sell Star Wars and Marvel, some of your best stuff that's bringing you in.
Well, no, he didn't say that they were gonna sell. He didn't say they were gonna sell those.
But he's trying to cut the cost on some of those shows. Though,
some of the rumors that basically is he's attempting to basically sell certain things,
by not making the stuff
to Sony. That was something that actually came up today. But again, it was basically selling certain properties, and I know a lot of it had to do with Disney Plus in India as well, because that's where it's hurting the market most. I think they lost over 5 million subscribers last year or from Disney Plus, and a lot of it is wear and tear. So they're thinking about just kind of rationing out. That's one of the things that he was thinking about, but that hasn't even been fleshed out, and we actually haven't heard anything from Disney officially yet or Iger yet, but this is what has been talked about. Some of the comments that he basically made.
What Vinny was saying, like, take some kind of blame for what you're doing, as being these execs that want to be so involved in the writer's room, and I want this influence in there, or I want this influence on the show. Like, just sit back, pay the checks, and let these writers and directors do their thing. And you want to have these kind of problems. And it would be better if they stay out of the fucking writing room, bro.
Yeah, bro. But it just feels like, and I stick by this. It just feels like there's a lack of confidence in the viewership and viewers in general, and us as viewers. They don't have the confidence that we want. Again, we know that there is a margin of individuals that when you give them something different, they'll complain.
Also, it's very weird with streaming, because unlike with network television, the viewers can look at ratings and see if what they feel is popular matches up to what is actually making money. But when it comes to streaming, everything is super cryptic and secretive, and they very rarely actually, any of the streaming services very rarely actually own up to the numbers that these shows do. So if we are all loving Miss Marvel and the numbers are plummeting and they're being critical of it, we're like, well, are you being critical because there's a lot of backlash online? But you and I both know, like, the the
Mm-hmm.
voices that are upset about a show are always going to be louder than people who are
Yep.
praising a show, because a lot of times if people like it, they just enjoy it and don't really say anything either way. But the people who bitch
Yeah.
are always going to be the ones who are loud. But there's
Yeah.
no way we could say, hey, like, why are you criticizing these streaming shows or these Disney Plus Marvel shows when they're doing X amount of numbers? This way, the way they hide it, they can always like just skew the narrative. Like Netflix does that too. There'll be a
Mm-hmm.
very popular show and it'll get canceled after one season, and they'll
Right.
just say, "Oh, it didn't. It didn't perform well enough." And it's like, hold up, there's so many like fan, approval and praise of these shows, and then
Mm-hmm.
they say,
Mhm.
"Oh, the numbers were trash though, so we had to
Mhm.
cut it." But there's no way for us to see it.
For
To see,
us to know it, we
yeah.
don't know it. We only
So it's
know
like,
by basically,
why'd you really cut it? Like,
yeah.
is there
Right.
anything else going on? Network television, if a show, if Moon Knight was on ABC, we would know exactly how well it did,
Exactly.
and there would be a better, more transparent dialogue as far as what worked, what didn't, why you made the decisions you did. But
Mm-hmm.
the streaming services, and to part of the bigger picture here with all the writers, the strikes, and everything like that, it's a completely just borderline, crooked, system where they have so
Mm-hmm.
much of the power. They don't have to tell
Yeah.
you anything. They don't have to pay you the
And
way
here's the
networks
thing:
pay.
is like they don't
They
even
don't have
tell
to
actors.
communicate.
No,
Yeah,
They
they
don't
don't
tell
have to
actors about the
communicate the way
viewership.
network
crazy.
does.
Yeah,
They
that's
don't have to.
crazy.
They don't have to pay the way networks do. They
Right.
get to make up all their own rules, just like record sales were one way for forever, and then when it
Mm-hmm.
came to streaming services, they got to
Digital,
make up
yeah.
new
Look,
rules.
look how HBO Max did Swamp Thing. That was a freaking hit, bro. Season 1 of Swamp Thing was
But here's the
amazing,
thing:
and they canceled it.
everyone
What
loved
the
it, right?
fuck?
But no one knows what the numbers were. So
Right.
they could just
Right.
say that they changed their
Right.
mind and say that
Right.
the numbers were trash, and there's no way we could prove that they were or weren't.
But like you were
Yeah.
saying earlier, bro, like all the TV shows that Disney Plus has put out for Marvel, like this section of Marvel right now that we're in, they've all been better than anything in the theater. It's
Mhm.
crazy,
A
bro.
lot of it
Like
has.
it's
A lot of it
crazy,
basically
dog.
has.
The writing, the acting, way better, bro.
Yeah, yeah. So Butt Naked, bro. What's your take on it? For those who don't know who Butt Naked is, Butt Naked
Oh,
is
there he is.
Brendan, the collector with no
Yes.
fear,
No
without fear. So
I
Like always
go ahead,
naked.
Butt Naked. You can talk.
I skipped the pants so I could go balls deep in this
Yeah,
because a lot of times people we're just looking through our own kind of singular perspective. I didn't like this, and this, so the whole
Mhm.
MCU is shit.
Mhm.
Now, Bob Iger had said, he specifically was talking about, he said that that the Disney Plus content and adding that to the mix diluted is the term he used, by doing too much with Disney Plus and the cinematic content, that they diluted the Marvel brand, and that was the issue. So it basically saying like they spread themselves too thin and put too much out there, and they didn't give enough focus to a smaller number of things to be more successful. If you look, and I compiled some numbers for us to just quickly run through. Now 2020 there were no movies, right, because of the pandemic, right?
The
That's
pandemic.
when there were
Yeah.
no 2020
It was dead.
movies in the
Mhm.
MCU.
Mhm.
So haven't spread ourselves too thin yet. Okay. 2021, there were 5 movies. Okay. Black Widow,
Mhm.
which globally made $380 million.
Did
That's and considering that was also released day and date on Disney Plus,
great. Mhm.
that's not bad.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, some people liked it, some people didn't. I think it was a pretty good action movie
Mhm.
that they made a bad decision with the origin of Taskmaster and how they did it there. But like, it wasn't like an egregiously bad movie, right?
No,
Mhm.
no.
Mhm.
Shang-Chi, I think all of us loved that. Most
Oh, yeah,
people
that was
loved
excellent.
that.
Mhm.
That made
Mhm.
432 million.
Yeah.
Again, we're
Mhm.
not back from COVID yet. It made
Right.
432. Prior to COVID, that movie makes a hell of a lot more than that. All right.
Mhm.
Eternals, again, very divisive. One of the lowest rated movies for Marvel, still amid the pandemic, still made up $402 million. Spider-Man No Way Home, globally, $1.92 billion fucking dollars.
Oh yeah, they killed it.
Okay? So we're still not at oversaturation or anything like that. 2022 movies, there were 3. Okay, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, somewhat divisive, but I think most people dug it, I know I did, and I'm not a Sam Raimi guy, right?
Yeah.
Made $956 million.
Yep.
Thor: Love and Thunder. We all agree that was not for us.
Oh God!
Thor: Love and Thunder was not for us.
Where the shit bomb started.
However, it made $761 million. Okay. Wakanda Forever. All right. We all liked it. Is it a perfect movie? No, but it was made under imperfect circumstances, and they did a damn good job given those circumstances. $859 million. Now, obviously, there's no box office for the MCU, the Disney Plus shows. Okay,
right.
But so now we'll quickly run through the Rotten Tomatoes for all of those. Okay, Doctor Strange had reviewer scores 74%, audience 85%. Okay, Thor: Love and Thunder 63 reviewers, 77 audience. All right, so we dip there. Wakanda Forever 84 reviewer, 94 audience. All right, Black Widow 79 reviewer, 91 audience. Now again, I'm also not saying that like Rotten Tomatoes is gospel, okay? But this is
we all know that,
sense, right?
It's just like a look good on type of paper type of situation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Shang-Chi 91 reviewer score, 98 audience score. Eternals 47 reviewer, 77 audience. Okay, expected that to drop down. Spider-Man No Way Home 93 reviewer, 98 audience.
Almost perfect, bro.
Okay, now quickly, this is the last bit, and then we can open up the Disney Plus shows. Okay, 2021 there were 5 Disney Plus shows, and again that also was because a lot of stuff was carried over from 2020.
From 2020,
from COVID. Yeah.
WandaVision 91 reviewer, 87 audience. Falcon and Winter Soldier 84 reviewer, 82 audience. Loki 92 reviewer, 90 audience. Hawkeye 92 reviewer, 89 audience. What If 94 reviewers, 93 audience. And then last, you have the 2022 shows. Moon Knight, 86 and 89. Ms. Marvel, 98 and 80, which is kind of a bit of a drop there for the audience. But She-Hulk, 80 and 32. That's a big fucking. That's a 52%. That's a. Oh, sorry, 48% difference.
Please say that one more time.
80% reviewer, 32% audience.
Right? Oh shit!
Yeah. All right, so.
How to get that high?
We all agree that there was a dip there, and that is warranted. That like for us.
That boy was
again
30.
It would not be on our pull lists. Other people, they might be like, oh, they might like it. Clearly, some
people
reviewers
always say we're hating on that show. 30.
Then you've got the MCU specials. Okay, I count I Am Groot because that was just like a couple of shorts, and those
It's
my kids
kitty shorts.
87 and 73. Okay. Werewolf by Night 90 and 89.
Hell yeah.
And the holiday special Guardians of the Galaxy 93 and 80. Okay. Out of all of that, only 3 things that I listed in that entire run of 2021 and 2022 films and shows. Only 3 went below 70% in any of those scores. And that was Thor: Love and Thunder, She-Hulk, and the Eternals. So when we're saying that Disney Plus is and too much content is diluting the Marvel brand,
he overstepping.
Yet out of those 18 releases in 2 years, only 3 below 70%. Multiple were above 90.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So and a lot of times like people are talking about how Phase 4, you know,
I gotta let you preach on this one. I gotta let you preach on this one, bro.
Got
I gotta let you preach.
So
I want to hear that She-Hulk
Phase
numbers again.
4 was such a disappointment.
Yeah.
And you look back at all the individual pieces of content, you're like, God damn, there were some bangers in Phase 4.
I wish I had an organ right now.
What we didn't get in Phase 4 that we were promised, and that's why people were so frustrated, we were promised that there was going to be a larger connected story.
Right.
And we kept being told in the next, you're about to get it. Thor: Love and Thunder was supposed to do it. You know, we were supposed to get it in Doctor Strange. We were supposed to get it in Spider-Man. We were supposed to get it in Thor. We were supposed to get it in Wakanda Forever, right?
Yeah.
We kept being honey-dicked, right? We were promised it was coming, and it never did.
Yeah.
All right. So that is a problem. I agree. As far as a cohesive story, and I'm fine with it. If you're going to tell isolated stories, I'm fine with that.
Right.
Tell isolated, powerful stories. I love one shots in comics.
Yeah.
Give me that shit. I like that. That's fine. Not everything has to be. I wanted Ant-Man to just be another cool, fun heist movie. Instead, they tried to make the stakes bigger, and instead they made them not matter. Right?
Yeah, bro.
So it's not that the quality. When you think about what we got, there are some gripes, but like Vinny was saying before, and like I said, we read a shit ton of stuff. You have a pull list. Not every piece of content is made for every person.
Everybody.
Now they want to they want to maximize the box office return. We get that, so that's on the business side. But we look at it as like, look, that show was not for me. This one was. I loved Moon Knight. Okay.
Yeah.
I would have liked more Moon Knight in Moon Knight, but I love Moon Knight. Right. But I also understand how somebody like Robert Meyer Burnett has said it online a bunch of times. His particular favorite elements of Moon Knight weren't in that show.
Yeah.
Because Moon Knight has had so many restarts and reconfigurations. And what I wanted, I got. What he was looking for as a Moon Knight fan from a different era, he didn't get. We understand that. He's not like out there decrying, like saying this is the worst thing in the world and Marvel is horrible for it, right?
Right.
We vibe with different things. You look at the money they've pulled in, and when you look at the audience scores and the review scores, they've had way more hits than that's a fucking amazing batting average right there.
Run. Yeah.
Right? They're forgetting this diversity of different types of shows, how efficient a Trojan horse that is, because you're getting people who never would have watched to watch, and then when you put Miss Marvel in a film, you got people who probably didn't give a shit about Carol Danvers who might go now.
Yeah.
Exactly. So people who didn't like the first Captain Marvel movie, right? And there were a bunch of people who didn't like that. But then they liked Monica Rambeau and WandaVision, and they liked Ms. Marvel. They'd be like, now we've got 2 more reasons to give this sequel another shot.
And that's exactly what they're trying to do. So why are they confused that that's something that's happening?
It's like they're using.
I think Bob Iger is confused because he's not Kevin Feige. He's not a comic head. He's not looking at it from that perspective and realizing, hey, you know what? When I read this book and this character crosses over and I dig that character, I'm like, I'm gonna go find more books with that character. Let me go and check their solo, right?
But see,
he's not. Like, this is literally like if your mall had a McDonald's and a pizza shop, and they each used to be fucking full at lunchtime, and then you had 18 different restaurants, and now you have people going to the mall because, hey, cool, now the mall has a Chipotle or whatever the fuck.
Exactly.
Now you're mad because there's not 100 people in line like there used to be at McDonald's. They're all spread out. They're still going to your damn mall.
Yeah,
bro, but it's like he's using Marvel and Star Wars like scapegoats for the company sinking or whatever's going on with the company losing money. But Marvel's obviously making money. Even with the 3 bombs that they had, they're making money. So
bro,
that's crazy.
Made in the chat though. There are a couple good points made in the chat. 2 in particular. One is Donnie Lee talking about how much these things cost to make and that budgets have been overinflated. That's been more of an issue on the DC side and on the
not on Marvel
Furious side than Marvel. They've kept their budgets within the scope of what they set out to, at least. But that still doesn't mean that they're not too high to begin with. But then you look at what Mikey Lito said, the theatrical window is too short now. And that's a very good point, because with a 45-day window, all right,
Yeah.
if people don't
Not
get a
long
chance
enough.
to get out and see a movie right away, that
They take
life
it
happens,
off.
you're busy.
Yeah,
I didn't get to
yeah.
see John Wick 4 in the theaters. I wanted to, but it came out at a time where I just had a ton of shit going on.
Yeah.
And by the time I was ready to go see it, it's like, well, I know I'm going to buy this movie and it's going to come out in like a week and a half. So I waited. I bought a new TV, so I was like, let me just wait and watch it on my brand new TV, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't go see it in the theater. People are looking at it as like, I mean, back in the day when we were coming up, man, it felt like it was 2 years after a movie came out before. Blockbuster, a major video, and rent that shit and bring it home, and then
it was like almost a year after a movie was basically released. I remember, like, you know, Vinny, you remember that after a movie,
the whole time the theater was making money. Those films were in theaters for months and months and months.
And
hell
that
yeah,
happen right now. So with the theatrical window so much smaller, they have to set reasonable expectations for what these films are going to do.
Because before,
and they have to
have the confidence in the films that they release, literally confident in it, and they don't.
Right, because they would stay in the theater for at least 2 months.
The other thing that's weird is it used to feel like how successful a film was in the theaters would dictate when it came out on video, and now that date is set. So like you have films like Super Mario Brothers that did so much better than they expected, but it already had a release date set for digital, so they wanted to keep it in theaters to keep it making that money, and they're tied to having to release it in 45 days.
I wanted to say that Donnie Leap, you bring up a very interesting point. That this is what I want to make. A brother, that is, again, family for a family of four. Even me and Toya can attest to that. Like, what I mean? It's us and the kids when we take them to the theater. That's over $100 or more. Basically, way more with concession.
Especially if you're doing Dolby or IMAX,
bro. If you're doing Dolby or IMAX, it is so damn expensive.
So you're looking at $80 for a family of four, right? Yeah. Then the food, then like
all of that, bro. All of that. Yeah. And here's the thing, though, and which brings me to a point: that 45-day release is because they've been going off of this whole platform. They've been depending on exactly. Send it to streaming because they basically believe that you're going to get more subs, more attention to the streaming. $5,000, like $5 million losses. Yeah. You get like 5 million unsubscribed individuals, people who unsubscribe to Disney Plus. That platform isn't working anymore because people still love the theatrical experience.
In the movie,
but the problem is
shortened because everybody wanted to get. They were all launching at the same time. Yeah. Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, every other fucking Plus you can think of. HBO, they all were launching.
And isn't Flash hitting this week? Doesn't Flash hit Max
this week? Because it tanked so bad in the theaters that it's coming out in like a week or so.
I think the 24th.
It's crazy, but so they were trying to build up because the theater business was dead during COVID.
Oh yeah.
They were trying to build up their subscriber bases on their platform, on the streaming platforms, to offset the losses in the theaters. And they didn't think about the long-term ramifications about what a movie will likely bring in at the box office once the pandemic was over. Because now it's like, well, people, fuck it, I'll just wait a month and a half and then I'll watch it at home, right? Especially
a big part of that, for your family. I think a big part of that, though, is just shady business tactics. Because if you are shortening the lifespan in the theater, there's less
how you put the movies to make money.
There's less compensation for back pay for people who want to get a piece of the theater profits. And you have when you have streaming services, then it's so much easier to hide the numbers and play with the numbers as far as how much money a movie made. So when you have someone like like the Scarlett Johansson case where she gets a percentage of the profits for it being in the theaters, and you say, oh, let's release it to streaming too, so that way we don't have to pay her as much. So it's just like what do they call it, like Hollywood accounting, right? Where they pretend a movie didn't make money in the theaters, so that way they don't have to pay.
Whereas back in the day, the better a movie did, the longer it stayed in the theater. If a movie was a banger, man, that thing stayed in the theaters for 6 months, and you weren't seeing a home release for a year and a half.
Exactly. So if you want to get out of paying a whole bunch of different things that you have to pay by a big blockbuster success, you flip it to streaming and say, well, those numbers don't count because it's based off of subs versus the purchase of a Blu-ray or the purchase of a movie ticket. Now it's hidden. in the sea of the streaming anonymity. So I feel like it's a whole lot of shadiness that's all wrapped up in this that they get to hide behind, the numbers game by it being streaming.
Damn, but
bro,
look,
Flash is hitting this week. Yeah,
I just saw Transformers in the theater 2 weeks ago. I already bought it yesterday on fucking Prime. Like that's crazy, dog.
Yeah.
Because basically it's available on these platforms to watch now. Again,
Way
that
too
40
early,
to 45 day release, bro.
Yeah.
These companies and these studios that are going to that, but at the same time, here's the problem though. Because I do want to pay, and I am playing devil's advocate on this type of situation because they don't realize that we have yet, and still, I don't think this is going to be a long time before the theatrical experience recovers from the pandemic. Why? It's because you created these streaming platforms knowing damn well that these films, films that you basically sent straight to these platforms, and then with this 45-day situation, you're sending it straight. So a lot of people are like, well, shit, if I don't have to spend money to go see it, I might as well just wait and stay the fuck home. And that right there, like literally, okay,
if you're going out on a date, then we'll go to the movie. But when you have a family of 4 or 5,
hell yeah,
like, fuck it, we're waiting for Super Mario to come out on
right. We'll make popcorn at home. We'll make soda here.
You want a real fucking experience? I'll buy you a plumber. I'll buy you a fucking I'm losing the fucking name of it now, but like plunger. There you go, plunger.
Yeah.
That did not want to come. I'll buy you a fucking plunger, and you can play Super Mario in real life until the fucking movie comes out.
Until it comes out.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's the thing is, like, when Bob Iger said, and look, he's a smart guy, so I'm sure he's aware of all these other factors, but he's not necessarily being that truthful about them in his public sentiments because the reality is, you look at the numbers, you look at the box office, and you look at the review scores, both reviewers and audience, over the last 2 years, the content that has come out of the MCU, there's some that are divisive, but for the most part, they've had way more hits than they've had misses. The struggles are not because of... The struggles are not because they did too much on Disney Plus. The struggles have so other factors like the 45-day window. And here's the other thing. When you look at Star Wars, it's not like we've got a shit ton of Star Wars content. You had 1 season of Andor. You've had 3 seasons of Mando. All 4 of those were very well received. There was maybe a little dip in like the reception for like Mando season 3, but like for the most part, those have all been positively received. And then you had Book of Boba, which people, a lot of people didn't like. You had, one show that people didn't really like.
Yeah.
We haven't had any fucking movies.
Yeah.
Since the sequel trilogy ended, which was while Bob Iger was, or he at least got that off the ground.
No, man, the Disney Star Wars shows have diluted the film so much that they don't exist.
Right.
Right.
So it's not like, what has Lucasfilm put out in the last fucking 5 years? It's been TV shows, only one of which wasn't well received.
Right.
And then they just put out Indy 5. There's been no Star Wars content on the big screen to be diluted by anything on Disney Plus
at all.
So that you just can't make a statement like that.
If anything, your Disney Plus content is basically gauging the interest and keeping people, no matter how divisive it is, it's still keeping people interested in the IP because at least you have something coming.
And
Bob Iger, if you didn't have Star Wars released on Disney Plus, if you didn't have any of that content on Disney Plus, what would your audience be?
Right. So much so that people are excited about Dave Filoni directing a movie in the theaters that closes out the whole Mando kind of universe and storyline, right? Because that's what his movie is supposed to be. Right?
Mikey Lito,
excited about that.
This show, I stopped.
I had high hopes for it, man.
Trash.
After the second episode, I was done. It was a wrap. I didn't even watch the rest of it. I couldn't. It was abysmal. The jargon, just the exchange, it was garbage. And I was like, what? You took a film that was basically part of my childhood and shitted all on it, bro. That was terrible.
I watched it to the end because it was like that. It was like that, you know, when you're watching you watch a porn and you're like waiting for the women to show up and they never show up and you're like, no, god damn it! Like good never showed up.
Yeah,
I was waiting for the
never
good
came,
to show
bro.
up. I was waiting. The boobs never show.
Anyway, listen. I mean, this, and we could go on and on about this. Bob Iger, hopefully, like, you're a sensible man. You just basically signed an extended contract till 2027. So you're making your money. Also, I don't want to dive too deep in it, but the comment that you basically made about the actors and the writers, that they're unreasonable expectations for what they want. Are you crazy?
You know,
you literally
fucked up
That's
when
crazy.
more people are agreeing with the nanny than with you.
And then what? Lyle, on your show, I think Friday night, you were saying how they're trying to use AI.
Yeah. So basically, this is what they're basically. So here's what they're doing. So actors, especially like a lot of background actors, what they were asking them to do was, look, we will pay you a single fee, but we want to own your likeness that we can use any damn time we want, and you have no discretion over that. You can't ask for more money.
Basically,
nothing.
You get paid as an extra for a day, and then they can use your face in forever. That project or anything else in the future whenever they want. They don't have to pay you again.
You want to know what's scary about that? This is not something recent or new. This goes back almost decades. That scan and reuse and digital creative licensing was such an issue in the industry that it dates back all the way to the reason why Jet Li wasn't Neo in The Matrix. Jet Li was initially supposed to be Neo, and they wanted him to come, and as part of the process of filming, they wanted him to film for 3 months but be there on set for 12. The other 9 months used having him do martial arts choreography and do all of his movesets, and then he wanted to scan him so that they could use his digital likeness and choreography for as many films in the future forever.
He was like,
that is why he said no.
Even Sam Jackson
that's why he said
publicly saying, he's like, I put in every one of my contracts, you cannot use my face and voice again unless you pay me and I agree to the terms. Like he puts it, he's like anybody who signs a contract where somebody can then use your voice or your face
or your likeness
after without express permission at that time and without compensation, so you're fucking crazy. He's like, I always put that in every one of my contracts.
It's like, bro, like, okay,
he's got the clout to do it.
Some of these actors, bro, are living paycheck to paycheck. I know they're rich,
literally,
and they're doing their thing whenever they have money. But, bro, some of them are living paycheck to paycheck. If they're not getting paid,
not at all,
for entertaining us,
people are thinking it's like, it's all these like Hollywood rich people, and it's like, first of all, nobody's richer than the studio heads. Nobody's got more money than they do.
That's what the studio is counting on. The studio is counting on you to be like, oh yeah, like I feel so sorry for Tom Cruise, who's a damn near billionaire. Like this isn't nothing about them.
You know
this is about the people
Dawson,
making a few hundred a week.
Right.
And she said Rosario Dawson was out on the picket line, and she's like, I'm out here picketing because years ago, people in the unions negotiated residuals that allowed me to stay in this business and get to where I am today. So I'm paying it forward. I'm doing the same thing. The people who are actors who are living paycheck to paycheck, and same thing with writers. I'm fighting for the best because she doesn't have to work again a day in her life. She doesn't need to. She's out there picketing not because she needs more money.
Right.
She's out there picketing. All right, and striking so that the people who are in the position she was in 20 years ago can make it to where she is today, right? Because somebody else did it for her before. And that's, this strike is more about the people who, I mean, think about all your favorite actors, even the millionaires right now.
Yeah.
Go back and watch an episode of fucking ER back in the 90s. And you'll be like, get paid. Oh, shit. That person was in this show. That person was in this episode. They were the one who got run over by the garbage truck in episode 12 of ER, right? And it's people who are like the top of the industry right now. But back in the day, they weren't. And that's how they put in their work on shit like that to make it to where they are right now. And those are the people that are getting hurt the most. Not the people who already have the money, but the people who we want to see in content. And for some reason, people it's like they love to watch everything that is made in Hollywood, but they love to hate the people who the creatives who make it.
You got
look,
guys
look,
behind the scenes,
look
the
who it is,
writers,
bro. Yo, look who it is, bro. Look who's out there.
Wow.
Hey, see.
Look who's out there. And she messaged me and she's like, she's been out there now for like the last.
That's awesome.
She's been out there pretty much every day since, and she's putting in the hard yards. I told her, said, look, you know what, we definitely support you and everything that you're basically doing. She even shared like some of the content of, you know, how much they basically paid her. How again,
they again, but
exactly.
Paid the right way.
And exactly, and how she even explained how they wanted to use her likeness, and you know what I mean, and how she was like, nah, and her it was basically her publicist and her manager that was like, nah, don't do that. And so she was like, well, I don't know how much farther I'll be working with Disney, but you know, it's no sweat off her back. But she's out there. She's definitely out there, though. Definitely, you see right there where she's at. Yep. Disney, Walt Disney, right there. That's where she's at right now, bro.
Julie, you're not wrong, man. I mean, at this point, Mahershala Ali is going to be collecting Social Security before he's playing Blade.
Definitely,
and that's insane, bro. Like, these writers and editors, bro, they're putting in work. I mean, like I said, when they, I forget who was something. The actor was talking about them. He said some of these guys are living paycheck to paycheck. They might be in the glitz and glam, making movies and entertaining, but it's still a job. If they're not getting paid correctly, like, how can they live? They got to pay this, they got to pay that. Like everybody else paying their bills. You want to get paid to go to work.
You do. You have to get paid to go to work and to make like those slighted comments. And this is why I was like, yo, it was crazy because, you know, again, they were references because I was, you know, listening to like a couple of writers that were talking about like even Marvel writers that have basically written for Marvel. And they were talking about how they were even approached. And, you know, they had knowing this situation, they were like, look, we got friends on the line. A lot of us are out on the line right there because, again, you're asking for source material and we didn't really get paid for a lot as well. So, again, you know, it's source material lost because y'all didn't even use it. You know what I mean?
Well, are they trying to do something with the scripts with AI as well? Like trying to let the AI do something?
Well, that's something that's basically been, you know,
that's something that they're trying to prevent happening in the future. Like right now, AI isn't where it would be where they can actually use that as a big part of the writing process. It absolutely is something where they would be more of a visual threat right now. But the future of the writing
could definitely be
that's part, but that's part of what they're fighting for now, to kind of make it where they can put that in the contracts too. Like, hey, this isn't, you know, you can't be, you know, doing this. They're looking at that as an aspect of it too. So it's not just it's a lot of factors at one. It's the pay for hire work where it's limiting how far that they can create revenue for themselves, and the AI stuff and the amount that they're getting paid. So it's multiple things that they're trying to you know, get Hollywood to make right. And Hollywood's under an impression that they get to just like, you know, throw up a picture of their Deadpool and Wolverine and we'll be like, yeah, F these actors, F these writers, we want our Deadpool. It's like you fail to realize that a lot of us grew up with no Star Wars for 40 years, no Marvel movies or DC movies for decades. You know, pay them what they're worth. At least compromise. You know what I mean? If you're not giving them, you know, at least come to the table and talk it out, instead of saying when people start losing their homes and losing their jobs and losing their houses, then they'll realize, you know, that they you know, they need us more than we need them. That's a really horrible way to make a public, like, if you see what Ron Perlman says today, that was a public statement that they made.
He deleted off his Instagram, but
because he made a
publicist was probably like, dude, you got to take that down. You talked about, you know, where that guy lives. Like, you can't say that shit. But it was captured and put all over Twitter and stuff, and people were like, absolutely. And Ron Perlman, he's a bad motherfucker. And
he'll go kick his ass.
I loved it. I agreed with what he was saying, but like the bottom line is, like, we're gonna go through a significant dry spell when it comes to comic book content on the big screen and on TV. But the good side is new comics come out every Wednesday.
Comics.
New comics come out every Wednesday, and that's the fucking source material for the stuff that we love on the big screen. More people should be reading those comics right now. Support the comic book artists and the comic book writers. I mean, like, if you're all about like all these MCU movies and stuff, and you're not reading the comics, well, like, What are you doing?
You
Pick up new comics every Wednesday. Go buy some Omnis, right? And pick up a whole, right? And get 1,000 pages of comic book content in one fucking Omni. There's so much content out there that people could fucking dive into that they're not. And it's crazy.
Speaking of which, I got to give us a quick shout out to my local comic shop and them putting me on to it's called Comic Hub. So definitely like what they've done is I'm signed up with Comic Hub. So whenever basically it goes strictly to them. So they'll notify me, let me know what new pulls or they'll basically notify me to let me know if
I've seen some of those movies.
Comic Hub, bro. Anyway, they'll basically let me know if there's new pulls, if I'm interested in certain things, if they're pulling things for me, if certain things that I want, I can go into my account and, basically just dismiss any comics that I don't want. So shout out to them. But yeah, basically support your local brick and mortar, number one, because again, it benefits you a lot, but also in this spell that we're going through right now, with the actor strike, with the writer strike. And if you're basically looking, here's what I would actually tell you to do. Some of the stuff right now, you have time to educate yourself on. So you'll know the differences of the cinematic universe from comics. And on top of that, you'll have the source material enough to understand the approach to certain characters. So use this time wisely. Go out to your local brick and mortar, your local comic shop, collect some comics.
Build a relationship with them, man, because people don't understand like what Lael just said about how they take care of them, how they hook them up.
Oh yeah.
I was just at my favorite shop, all right, that I drive 45 minutes to get to, right? I love this shop. I buy all my big books there. Like I spend a lot of money at this place. I get all my modern like weekly stuff because they don't do that. I get that somewhere else. But my favorite shop, I go and I buy all my big books. And I was up there. There was a signing there for great artist Larry Stroman. I spoke to him for a while. I filmed a bunch of stuff while I was up there. But the owner there, over the last couple of years of me going and buying stuff from him, we've become good friends. He puts on this great comic show every year. But I go in there, and I've always said, like, you never get the deals that you don't ask for. It's like Michael Jordan said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
Yeah.
And so I always say, hey, let's say this book you got listed for 50. Hey, can I do 30? What would you do at 35? Do a 40, right? Worst they can do is say no, or maybe they say, you know what, I can do it for like 42. Or so, whatever. Like, and it goes, back and forth. You save a little bit, they do, but it's got to the point now where I've built such a good relationship with him that I had $300 worth of books, and then on Sunday when I was about to leave. And he's like, how much, the sticker price and all that come up to? He's like, I told him 300. He's like, give me 2. I didn't even have to ask, like, hey, could you go down to the, like, he just immediately knocked off like a third of the price. He's like, give me 2. Right?
Yeah.
You build those relationships with your LCS and you can get great deals. You can get amazing books. They'll take care of you. They'll hook you up with your pull list. They'll hook you up with books that you're trying to get, down the road. Build those relationships. Like it's a great hobby if you actually embrace it and understand that, the ins and outs of, because it is very much a comic book community.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like you get a reputation as somebody that people want to deal with, that people want to fuck with.
Yeah.
Do that, man. Like, especially now when we're going to go through a dry spell on the screen.
Yep.
Go to your LCS, man, and
make sure you
get
do.
to know you.
Make sure you do. Make sure you support. And again, like I said, if you want the knowledge, it's there for you. But definitely, and physical media. I'm telling you, physical media is better than digital. Smelling those pages, have it in your hand, just the time to read it at will whenever you want. Always support physical media. It's still out there for support your local brick and mortar. But I want to go through this real quick here, because it's interesting. And hey, I applaud her because again, she is a geek, she is a nerd, and she knows her shit. And again, this is Iman Vellani. I wanted to basically bring this up because she is now she's partnering with Sabir Pirzada. I think that's how they say his name, Pirzada or whatever. But she's partnered with him on a 4-issue limited run. It's now called Miss Marvel: The New Mutant. So basically, it is a limited run where now again they're making that transition cohesively from the cinematic universe and they're taking that cinematic universe and bridging it with the comic universe. And
That
she's,
didn't take long.
what'd you say?
That didn't take long.
No, I didn't.
yeah,
It
They
definitely
did say
didn't.
that they're not
'Cause-
erasing her Inhuman backstory.
Because when they killed her, I'm sure that's what all of us thought was, okay, they get to change her to a mutant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a way that she might basically end up reborn in Krakoa, possibly.
That's the thing. They said they're not getting rid of her Inhuman backstory. They're not erasing
don't
that.
want
So
that.
my guess is they're gonna somehow say that she maybe also had an X gene. Like she's like the first that we know of with both, right? And that
Ex-human.
because she had an X gene, they were able to resurrect her through that Krakoan resurrection process that they have in the books right now. And so she comes back, and then she realizes that she's part mutant, and then she like joins one of the X teams after the whole Fall of X, storyline. So it makes sense.
Will she
Get
have the
ready
natural
for
stretch power,
Ex-Human
like-
comics.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
So we'll see how they do it. I mean, I'm not judging it beforehand. It could be shit.
indeed,
It could be
Tori.
great.
That's
So,
my baby,
yeah.
bro. I'm
Let's
telling you,
see
I was so proud, bro. She was in there picking on Saturday. She was
I
going through
saw-
comics.
I saw her
She
with
was
the
grabbing
Spider-Man
stuff that she
comics.
loved.
I'm like,
Bro,
okay,
she came
I
over.
see
She showed me the cover because she loves the cover. It was like one of the latest covers of Sam Wilson
Who's that?
Cap.
Amazing Spider-Man.
It's the Hellfire, the gala. So
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
like I said, with him dressed up, it was super dope.
Bro,
But she was
she's
just going
lucky.
through.
I was just too busy this weekend, bro. I wanted to Photoshop her face on Mr. Glass, like comic books, motherfucker. Do you read them?
Yeah, bro. She was in there getting her pick on. Basically, it was
That's
two
what's
books.
up, man.
That she basically wanted to get. Like one was the Bitter Root, so she was looking for that as well. But yeah, she was going through just getting her picks on. So definitely,
Boom, baby.
yeah,
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what
This
she
is
was.
this is the Omni, the Bitter Root, and when I was doing when I was at that signing, the one of the variant cover artists, Larry Stroman, this is inside and this is his cover, and I had him sign that.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Dude is, I mean, I love this Bitter Root. If you haven't read it, so fucking good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to get the because she was definitely looking for it, and I think
the
they got
Omni's
it.
only like $40-something, $50.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna actually have to get it for. I'm gonna probably hit them up and tell them to put it aside, and I'll pick it up for her this week if they find it for her. But
That's last week's poll, Brendan.
What?
The Bitter Root.
No, Bitter Root came out a couple years back.
Mm.
That's an Omni. That's an Omni.
It's an Omni
that's
of
been
it.
out for a little while, but it's only like
Okay.
40 or $50.
Yeah,
But-
yeah,
Oh yeah, I might have
Damn,
to count that.
it is a great story, amazing art. It's killer. It's an absolute must read.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Brendan, they didn't have the omnibus, so I ordered it on Amazon. I have to finish the 3rd volume.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I got mine. I think I actually got mine on Amazon too, because Amazon still had them in stock, and a lot of the smaller places just didn't because it sold out because it was so good. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, once I got that Omni, I tore through it in I think 2 days.
shout out to my bro, second brother in the building. Second brother, aka man, these motherfuckers in the building. Thank you.
Honolulu, motherfucker.
He is in Honolulu. That's my guy, man. That is my guy. But yeah, man, like again, we kind of knew with even the last issue, basically that again, the way they ended it, and even basically having like the heroes, at the funeral, it was kind of like a sad moment, but we kind of knew that this is the direction and they were going, and this is something that they probably. Yeah. I have that one.
Right. Look, here's the thing. Like, yeah, we know they're bringing her back super fast. Like, she was barely dead for 5 seconds before they announced she's coming back. I get that. But at the same time, every comic book character dies except for Uncle Ben and Gwen Stacy. And even Gwen Stacy had other alternate versions. Like, those are the only ones that stay dead forever, right? Everybody else comes back at some point.
Superman,
I'll tell you what, even knowing she was coming back, I read this book. I swear to God, I shit you not, I teared up multiple times reading this book. And that's the testament to how good the writing is in this. Because even though you know she's coming back, right? This book hits. If you have ever lost anybody that you cared about, if you've ever gone to a funeral for somebody that you love, this book will make you tear the fuck up,
It
right?
slaps,
Because it's
bro.
written that well.
It
So
slaps.
when people say that there's no good writing in modern comics anymore,
That's
fuck
bullshit.
you, because
That's
this
bullshit.
is
Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
writing. And even though we know that she's coming back, this book still hits hard.
Yeah, definitely it does, bro. And the thing is knowing that they had to, number one, they approached her a while ago. They did. They
She's a
approached her
comic
a
book
while
head,
ago.
bro.
But she's a bona
She really
fide
is.
comic book head, bro.
And
Like
people
literally.
Kevin Feige.
online
She
saying,
Feige.
"Oh yeah, just because she got she got cast in the show,
Nah.
then they get." It's
Nah.
like, no, dude. There were pictures of her when she was 15 years old, dressed up for Halloween as Ms. Marvel, years
Yeah.
before she got the role.
Years before.
So like,
years before.
she's she was the one who literally. She publicly argued with Kevin Feige, saying that the MCU was not the
616.
That
She
exactly.
argued with him. Yeah.
Public
All right,
conversation. Yeah.
This isn't. It's weird that this is controversial at all. It should be nothing but
Yeah.
a good thing. This
Yeah.
isn't someone like bumping out, a major writer to take over a years long
This is a
run
good
on a
thing,
book.
bro.
This is like even if it was just a publicity stunt, it's a good one. It's like there's no downside here. There's no losers. She's still co-writing, and we've seen celebrities write books before that they had nothing to do with. Like CM Punk wrote some books. Like Raven wrote some books. Like
Yeah.
there's been celebrities helping write out a book that they just enjoyed. So her helping write a book that she's a part of in the cinematic universe is a no-brainer. It's a really cool move,
Yeah.
and it's a miniseries. This isn't. I don't see why this would be controversial at all. It's really cool.
Well, I
I'm
found it
very
on
interested to
Amazon.
see, how she does, and she's writing with someone, so I'm sure it's a lot of like, here's some ideas, and then here's some dialogue, and then they just work together to work it out like a ghostwriter. You know what I mean? It's going to be a successful thing from that standpoint, because you have someone who's very passionate about the role that she's in and about Marvel in general.
Loving the
And
character.
you have like an ambassador for a whole culture, because she's a super bona fide geek that we all knew she was a geek before she even got the role. And there's no downside here.
No, not at all. And that's the good thing, bro. It's just the simple fact that, with her having that knowledge and how it could possibly translate. And here's the thing, when you have someone who's gifted, and knowledgeable about comics, you would hope that those influences, and I'm pretty sure she spoke out against those influences like she did against Kevin Feige, and even, on board with the Marvels that, that's been done. Look, people have to also remember this. We talk about like them dying and whatever, but the original intent, again, keep in mind that the original intent of the character was to be an X-Men, was to be a mutant before they made the character an Inhuman. Yep. That was the original intent. You know what I mean? So it's nothing far-fetched. It's just them getting back to the original, the origins for this particular character.
And it's a rare, even in this book, because it's not a spoiler or anything. There's no big plot thing, but fucking Wolverine walks into that mosque for the funeral service.
And starts speaking, and knows the Quran.
Fucking Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like, it shows
it's a rare
that there's
case
something
where
there.
it's a rare case where the comics is changing something to fit in with the MCU, where that it's organic because it was something that they initially intended in the first place. So this is this is all good. So
and because they did it so well on the Ms. Marvel show.
Yeah.
That when they're taking something that was done so well on screen and infusing it into the comics when that was the intent in the first place, it just works. Rather than it's not like they're trying to take what we didn't like about the She-Hulk show and push that into the comics.
It's not like them changing Wanda and Pietro's background from mutants to justify the comic.
The miracles.
Change.
Yep, baby. He knows the Quran. He definitely knows the Quran. They were in the book was dope. He comes in and reads the Quran, and they were like, "What?" Like he knows that he cites the Quran and
Imam in there is even like, "Wait, you're not Muslim? Like, how did you learn to do that?" So he's like, I picked up a few things during my time in Madripoor. Like, it blows him. He's like,
he's a very spiritual cat. Wolverine might be
this, and the whole issue. I highly recommend people read it. The whole issue is basically people going into this mosque for a service for a bunch of people that have died. Some of them are going in for Ms. Marvel, and some of them are going in for Kamala Khan, and only a few of them know that it's the same person.
That they're the same person.
So there's that dynamic of who knows which version of her and who knows both. And the whole ceremony is basically everybody that knew and loved these people takes turns reading passages from the Quran until they finish reading the whole thing. It's a beautifully written book. It's so good.
I'm so glad that I gave that show a chance, because I was so mad in the beginning that she wasn't going to be Inhuman. And I remember y'all three boys was beating me up like, just watch. It
was a good show, bro.
That show was one of the best MCU shows that they've had on Disney Plus in the last couple years, dog. Like, that was a freaking great show. I hope at some point that her arms do stretch like the one from the comics instead of having the bangles to control it. But bro, that show was above and beyond my expectations, man. Some of them scenes, especially with the train and her grandmother, bro.
Dude,
that was emotional as hell. Like, damn, they went through a lot. You know what I'm saying? So, great show. I know the comic's going to be dope, especially if she's going to be co-writing. Yo, Shorty knows her comics, bro. Like, this is going to be a good book.
It is. It's definitely going to be good, bro. And I love the simple fact that, they're giving her a chance to have that influence, and I think that even actors who are, but here's the thing, bro, because she's not the only actor out there or in the MCU that is a comic buff and a comic head. She's the only one that's really vocal about it at the young age, and I'm so glad that she is. And that's one of the reasons why I can't wait to see the Marvels, which I think is going to be a good film.
Wish DC did stuff like that.
Exactly, bro. I can't, again, for her involvement, to her to basically have that level of involvement,
and demanded too, though.
And I love the way the suit looks so far. That shit looks dope. Really looks dope. So I can't wait to see what they do with it.
It looks so good because it retains what is classic about her suit and the cultural aspects. But it looks like it's legit OG X-Men. It looks just perfect, and I hope that whatever team she ends up being a part of, I hope they do that where they go and rather than everybody having their own kind of like completely different like costumes and shit, I hope they actually have the yellow and blue with like the red. I hope they actually have a cohesive look.
Right.
Because I love the way she looks in this. Even down to like the X's, on the gloves, on the ends of her sleeves, right? Just those elements, man. I think they crushed the character design on this.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. They definitely did. They did such an amazing job with it. And, just the simple fact that they are paying, like you said, homage to the original suit. That's beautiful. Like, what I mean? That's something that, we, as a comic reader, bro, you want that. You want that basically involvement and for them to stay close to it. But, yeah, I'm happy, man. I can't wait till that actually drops. But yeah, I know it's going to be super, super, super dope. But moving on real quick, and everybody again, support it when it drops. Make sure that you actually do, because I think it's going to be dope.
Lael, so Blazing Asian, I gave him props and made a good point in the chat too. In addition to her, Oscar Isaac is also a comic head. And he had his own comic that he kind of helped create with a team of other people too, called Head Wound Sparrow. That was actually funded on Kickstarter, and I actually have the hardcover and I read it, and it's really good. It's very entertaining. Crazy art style, like weird story that like leaves it in a place where you can tell they want to do more if it sells well. So that's another one. Check out Head Wound Sparrow. It's really good, and that's cool too that we have actors who are in the MCU that are legit comic heads that are then trying to give back to the very medium that they're benefiting from on the screen now.
You hear that, DCU? You hear that? Henry Cavill was a huge comic book head, and you fired him. You hear that, DC?
Yeah. So I'm moving
You've been
on really
holding that
quick.
one in like a fart in church.
I know.
Yeah, I've been holding it in.
Moving on from this one. I actually want to move into again our another discussion here, and that is the episode 4 of Secret Invasions.
Fucking excellent episode, bro. Excellent
So
episode, dog.
here's the thing, and I open up with this scene right here. Well, not necessarily because I can't find the right scene because it wasn't him that but we knew, and we basically, I mean, we talked about this. Basically, it was something that we knew going forward, and what we would actually see was that again during this scene on episode 3, she was not dead.
Oh yeah, extremely.
Come on, and they already let us know. Vinny, I'm sorry you didn't see the trailers, but during the trailers, they basically showed us going forward that she was still going to be a part of certain scenes. And they were keeping her around for some reason. Also, there are some ties, some things that I think that I'm hoping. There's rumors, but I'm hoping that this rumor is not true. I'm hoping that it's a different take on it and that we see the actual original sometime going forward. But again, Guy is alive. In case people didn't really know, she, took the powers of, what do they call them? The extremist?
The extremist.
Yeah, the extremist. So she took the actual powers of the extremist, which keeps her alive. She healed from it. She, basically snuck in to make sure that she had that power really quick, which is a smart move. She's an intelligent.
It was a smart, that's a good
and she did that
part
real
of
quick
the MCU
too.
to pull for when you don't have the Fantastic Four yet.
Yeah.
To use that for this. Extremis is actually one of my favorite Iron Man arcs, and that's actually one back in the day when I had a kind of a lull out of comics for a little bit. That one actually pulled me back into
that was a good story arc.
Reading. And the Iron Man Extremis, Warren Ellis, is an Adi Granov doing the art. It's phenomenal, and there were elements. Iron Man 3 people, which is the other thing too, is people, complain about the MCU Phase 4 stuff and stuff. A lot of people were not fans of Iron Man 3, right? Shane Black's story there. But they at least tapped into Extremis, and there were some elements of that movie that they did really. I mean, who was not a fan of Gwyneth Paltrow, at the end of that movie?
And I loved Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce is dope.
Exactly. So. But Extremis is a really good way to tap into something from early MCU, and still give us what's needed for a really cool Super Skrull when you don't have things like the Fantastic Four. So I applaud them for doing that. I think that was a very good way to do it.
Very, very clever, because obviously Skrulls are synonymous with Super Skrull, and this is their first implication of getting the powers, and we still might see Super Skrull in the future in a Fantastic Four film, but this is them figuring out a way to can we get Super Skrull? We got Super Skrull at home. It's close. It's not quite close, but it's a very creative way around it. My only thing was I found it a little bit odd that I never seen anyone time delay control extremists. You see when Gallic uses it, it's instant to recover from an injury, and you would think it's just a latent ability, as opposed to she kind of just waited till nobody. She waited till I guess they left. Yes, they did. And let's not hide the body or nothing. Let's just leave her. And then she was like, all right, let me heal quick.
Well, it's like back in the day with one of my favorite all-time sci-fi franchises, Highlander. Right. Sometimes somebody would die, and then they would come back in 2 seconds, and then sometimes they would wake up 5 hours later in the morgue, and it's it's basically whatever suits what they're trying to do in that scene at that moment. Yeah. It's because comic book logic and science, we can stretch.
It definitely was a stretch for sure, but I mean, obviously it was I was cool with it, but it was some okay. I'll roll with it, but
it was because you wanted the suspense at the end of episode 3, and then they were going to quickly resolve it at the beginning of episode 4. But it's because because then they're like, wait a minute, they killed Maria Hill. Did they just kill?
They killed her too.
Just kill Gaia now too?
Gangster. This show was gangster.
We knew that they didn't, but at the same time, they wanted to put that suspense in there for some
fans won't like that.
Yeah. That's what up. Toy Quest Miguel, thank you for being here, man. Speaking of super, y'all seen the variant. He said, speaking of super, y'all seen the new variant Superman Hot Toys exclusive Super Chase figure. Yeah, you fucking.
Yeah.
But nah, listen, again, going into this,
Really being slick.
we talk about dialogue. And one of the dopest dialogues back and forth was, again,
oh yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Here's the thing.
Them two together.
I don't care
bro.
what people say, bro. Listen, there's people who all they want, and we say this, you want punches and powers. Well, sometimes you gotta wait to get what you want and focus in on the detail, focus in on the dialogue and what they are saying and what they are giving us. Focus in on that, because those are the most important points, things that you miss, things that you need to know. And also it helps us to gain more interest in character development. And I think that the dialogue is the most important part. And when Nick Fury basically has these conversations, when they're talking back and forth, it's like key things that you may miss, but key things that you need to know. But this show
is about character.
It's about character. And I think the dialogue is so beautifully written, bro.
That's when you get stuff like up on the elevator platform in Andor.
Yeah.
From Stellan Skarsgård, right?
Yeah.
That thing that everybody is like, oh, fuck, that's one of the best things ever in Star Wars.
Yeah.
These are the kinds of shows where you get that character work from actors who are once in a generation. And like, not everything has to be a fucking explosion. All right. Sometimes let the man do what he needs to do in a scene and realize I just got to watch something really fucking cool and I didn't need any CG for it.
Nope.
But you know what else I love about this whole conversation is, like, he's open with only her, but then he's also investigating her or still concerned a little bit about what she's been doing this whole time. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's open to her, but then he's pulled back at the same time.
Yeah.
Yo, their
think about when she asked him.
Dope.
Think about when she asked him if I always wore my real skin, would you have still fallen in love with me and loved me the same way? And he looks at her
and said, "You'll never know."
And then he's like, "I guess we'll never know."
I guess we'll never know.
Right? The way he did that.
Yeah.
I guess we'll never know.
Powerful. All right.
And just the drama when the drama when
go ahead.
No, when the drama of it, just the scene when they both pulled the trigger. Yeah. And it moves, you go back, and they both, bro. It was the most unexpected moment. It was like, what the fuck?
I thought she was dead.
Yeah, bro, me too.
Gonna be dead. But
they show her face first. They show her face first, and you're like, oh shit, she must have killed Nick.
The fact that he was basically like, well, if she's gonna kill me, I'm gonna die, but I'm not gonna kill her. That says something about him and about how much he actually cares about her and how much she cares about him. It's not meant for the same effect, because obviously it was a different piece of cinema and stuff. But like it's the I love you, I know in Empire. Right? With Han, with Harrison, just ad libs that after multiple takes and stuff, and he's just, I know, and that's the one, because that actor in the moment did something special, right? And this is where you get that kind of stuff in these kinds of scenes where he's like, now I'm not saying he wrote that line or he ad libbed it, but that it has that same impact of, it wasn't just I love you too, baby. It was like, oh yeah, I would have loved you no matter what. It's like,
it also was a storytelling. It also was a great storytelling implementation, because we didn't have the time to watch, flashbacks of, a decade or two of them having like moments and stuff like this. You had a moment where he did something uncharacteristic, because the Fury that we know from this universe would have shot her because fuck her, like, she's a spy or blah blah blah. That's uncharacteristic of Fury, because Fury is always business first. And we haven't even been shown a romantic this side of Fury at all. So instead of them having to figure out a way to tell us that he really loves her, they showed it.
In like two scenes, we understood decades of character backstory and didn't need anything else. We got it. In those two scenes, we know who these two are to each other. And that's hard to do and do well, and they fucking nailed it.
Yeah. Listen, when them two on screen, bro, they gel so well together. It's like you can't. That's one of those couples that's like, damn, they look great together on film, and the dialogue between both characters is like to the T,
golden,
perfection.
bro. Golden.
Also, this show had the reunion of two Fresh Prince of Bel-Air alums, because you had her, who was Will's aunt, but also she was in the scene with Don Cheadle.
Yep.
Don Cheadle was in the first season of Fresh
exactly.
Prince of Bel-Air.
He was the best friend.
And speaking of Don Cheadle, this was obvious that we knew that he was a Skrull, but
but he's the.
I don't like.
You said you don't like it?
No, so when they were talking about how, like, when Kevin Feige has said he likes that people are going back because he's been a Skrull longer than you would think, I don't like that for a very specific reason. Is because just like it kind of sucked, because I liked that that interaction with him and Sam Jackson and wanted that to actually be Rhodey. You know, I don't like, because the only, like, the most recent appearance in the MCU prior to this, right, which he's kind of insinuating that he was a Skrull in past MCU appearances. Well, the most recent one before that is Falcon and Winter Soldier. And if you take out Sam Wilson, if you take out Rhodey from that conversation he had with Sam Wilson that was so significant,
right?
All right, about him being black and being taking on the mantle of Cap, right? If you take Rhodey out of that, it takes something away from what that scene meant, I think, especially with Sam.
But you know what?
Do you think that it happened during Falcon and Civil War? He got
we don't necessarily know. It was implied.
We don't know.
We don't necessarily know.
Kevin Feige implied that it happened before this show, and the most immediate thing right before this is Falcon and Winter Soldier.
But listen to this real quick. Here, this is what I want you to listen to, because I think that there's a possibility, though. And I hear what you're saying, because I felt the same thing. But then I thought about it. I was like, well, if you think about it, if he was a Skrull, and if that conversation was had, it not only basically spoke about the references to just being black and carrying a shield, but also if you look at the Skrulls and you look at the race, they are indigenous. They're still indigenous. So when I look at it from that aspect, connection. I'm like, it's an indigenous race who are basically fighting for a place. And right now they are in their own land, or they're in their own planet. They're being enslaved. They're being chased. And right now they are hiding behind skin. They're hiding behind false pretense, because they're afraid to basically show who they are, or because they're not accepted. So that aspect of it, I look at. I'm like, okay.
For me, it's just like, even though, like, I totally understand and appreciate that.
No, I got you though.
It's twofold for me, just because while the conversation can still have the meaning, I wanted that meaning to be between the two characters specifically.
Two brothers, especially.
So that's the part.
No, I get it though. I get it though.
The other part though is when we look at the way the Skrull Rhodey behaves in this show, he's kind of a fucking dick, right?
And he's a straight up dick.
So
but that is it goes to the beautiful acting of Don Cheadle though.
It does. And if you haven't watched Don Cheadle pay a complete asshole, watch House of Lies, the old Showtime show.
That was my shit. That was my shit.
So him and Kristen Bell,
bro. I love that show, bro.
Such a great show. But that's my thing is that I don't know if I could buy the same Skrull being that dick in this show and being so poignant and on target with what he was saying culturally in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it would have to be a different Skrull taking his form. I don't know.
If this Rhodey Skrull has been around for a minute, bro, just think what happens when he finds the real Rhodey. And if he doesn't know that Tony is dead, Tony's his best friend. So if he doesn't know that, if it's happening before Endgame,
well, but see, that's the thing.
That's going to be devastating, bro, for him as a
I
character.
can't. I don't want to think that it happened
more
before
devastating
then.
than that, and it will be if they go down in the lab and they show Rhodey's body hooked up to the machines,
Mhm.
and it's Terrence Howard. That's what's really going to be crazy.
That would be.
All right, that would be pretty fucking good. Not gonna lie.
That would be good.
Not gonna lie.
That would be
pretty
good.
fucking good.
And then he look at Sam, hey, Benny, he look at Sam Jackson, be like, man, they got me. Come get me, man. Get me off of this, man. Come on, man. They been had me hooked into this phone whole time, man.
Fury, I gotta tell you something. It's a secret invasion, man.
Get this off me, man. Man, get this off me, please, man.
Sorry,
Man,
it's a secret
come on,
invasion,
man.
man.
Come on, man. Get me off of this, man.
Not to completely switch topics, but just for 1 second, I just saw a comment up in the chat that one pouch man said nobody that I know is looking forward to the Dave Filoni Star Wars movie.
4 people.
I disagree.
I am.
I am, bro.
We don't have to go all the way back to that topic. I just had to address that. I'm fucking looking forward to that movie.
I'm definitely looking forward, bro. I'm looking. Look.
Talking about? Do they watch Clone Wars?
Bro, I'm gonna tell you like this. And this is just me. I'm sorry, but I would definitely disagree with that. I am looking forward to all 3 films. I'm looking forward to the Rey film. People may not, but I'm looking forward to it.
I'm one of them ones that's not.
But I am, and I think basically if it's well written, if they do it a certain way, to give her justice, bro, because it wasn't an actress, and the bullshit that she's been getting is fucked up, and I don't like that shit.
I don't blame
that
her.
shit.
I blame
pisses
the
me
writing.
the fuck off.
The writing and the writing.
I still basically want to see that film. I definitely want to basically see the Dave Filoni film. I definitely want to see the original Rise of the Jedi. That's just basically me, because again, I'm invested in it. I'm not going to be one of those people basically that sit back, bro. And again, it is always that same back and forth. It is the same song and dance with a lot of people, because you hear this person say it, I'm going to say it. Oh yeah, I don't like this. It's bullshit. Yeah, it hasn't been the sequels. The show, man, fuck that. Look, I love what I love. People out there love what you love. If you dislike it, that's completely fine. It is what it is. But stop. Literally formulate your own opinion. Sometimes it's better to keep it to yourself, because there's going to be a bunch of individuals out there that may not feel the same way you do. And please, one pouch, you my guy, bro, all day, every day.
We're not saying that
but
you're
save
one of the people
that.
who's hating
We're not.
on
We're not.
No,
we're not
but
saying
the thing
that.
About it,
we're not saying that.
The
we're
thing
not.
about stuff like that is, bro, it's because if you have a different opinion about a certain topic or subject, today's social media and today's people associate that with you hating on it automatically, because my opinion is different. People will say, "Oh, well, he's a hater." What? Because I don't like the same thing you do. That makes me individual, not a hater. So it's like some people are getting backlash for just disagreeing with, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, because that person or these group of people may like this story and you don't, because you feel it just wasn't up to par for your opinion. You're considered a hater off rip. I'm like, damn. I've seen that a lot, bro, and that's crazy.
The thing is, you can have an opinion, and that's completely fine. But here's the thing:
balance to strike
between. But for her as an actress to go through the shit she was going through, that's fucked up,
bro. But it's really, really fucked up. And the thing is, people take it to a level that they don't need to take it. You know what I mean? They don't need to take it down that fucking road. Like literally, if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's cool.
Yeah.
But don't try to convince other people not to like it. Don't try to basically pass it.
Please tell me that you came up with that on your own, Toya. Yeah. Please tell me that's not like a trend that you just thought of that in the moment, because that's too fucking good.
What's that?
Yeah.
Filoni isn't baloney.
Nah, bro,
she
like
that's hilarious,
bro. But it's the truth. Like it's like, dag, man. This guy, and I'm gonna tell you, proof isn't going. The proof is in the pudding next month. Just watch and see.
You gotta just watch and see. You gotta understand that the Star Wars was dead for a minute. Filoni was one of the ones that in my opinion, people might hate me for just saying this, but one of the ones that I think came back and breathed life in the Star Wars. Star Wars was dead, bro.
Definitely,
it was dead for a while. Clone Wars, and then you got Rebels. Dude,
Tobor trying to start some shit with Waterworld
for a minute, bro. And Filoni put it back on the map, I think. So I'm excited. I want to see his take on
Bro,
Star
I
Wars
want to
fans.
definitely see it too. And again, it's nothing against those who may dislike it, but please don't try to pass your beliefs off on everybody else. And the thing is, look, I think that Filoni is going to do a phenomenal job. I cannot basically wait to see it.
And if he doesn't, guess what? You still have the original trilogy and anything else
just
about
keep
Star
it that
Wars
way.
that you love.
Definitely,
right?
man. I'm just tired of the same song and dance. I am so tired of it, bro. I'm tired of the same jargon. Okay, I get it. You don't like it. Okay, you don't have
But
to move on.
It's the same thing with what we've been, with the MCU, and we're talking about Secret Invasion. There are tons of people who don't like this show, and it's like, you can not like this show, but you can't just say, oh man, this thing is fucking garbage, like fire everybody at Marvel and Disney and get new people in there because you guys don't know what you're doing. No, they're making a show that, hey, you don't like. Okay, catch the next thing. Right?
Exactly.
Catch the next thing. There are people who aren't into the street level stuff. All right, they're not into Punisher and Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. They want the cosmic stuff. They want the Guardians, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. Watch what you like.
Watch what you want to watch. But I tell you what,
this Secret Invasion show, I don't understand how people hate on it, bro. Like,
well, no, because some people, it's just not their style. That doesn't. It's okay.
But even if it's not, bro, it just show. And I'm not forcing people to watch it or like it. But the show, you get action, you get espionage, you get love, you get science fiction. All that shit is in this show, bro. Like I don't know, I
bro.
don't see.
You get a protagonist that actually makes sense
and pisses you off too.
That he does. He actually makes sense. And the thing is, that bodes well to like a good actor, good performance, a good character. And I think basically he definitely makes you hate him every time you see him. But the things that he says, my favorite, like literally the conversations that he has actually had, even when they were in that art gala, that shit, when he basically, bro, he killed that shit. The mannerisms, everything about it, he basically brought it to life. But getting back,
dude, when I went to see Mission Impossible, I saw him in the trailer for the Bob Marley movie. And oh my fucking god!
Yeah, I can't wait.
It's like, how is the same guy playing those two roles?
Malcolm X and Bob Marley.
Both of them up. They're that fucking good.
He eats them up because he is definitely an amazing actor and he pulls it off.
Man.
But I want to get back to this real quick because again, with this. And seeing now that there is connection, one of the biggest questions that a lot of people had was, is she or is she not the queen? And I'm going to say she's not. She's not the queen. She is not the queen.
No, I don't think she is.
No, she's not the queen. She's not. I think that she basically just has a role to play. She's playing it, but she is not the queen. And I don't think that they would actually go that route.
Right?
The Emperor is on a different planet. The Emperor is basically on a totally different planet. But yes, she is not the queen.
I think the queen would be saved for the big screen, probably.
The big screen.
It'd be probably saved for the big screen. You might see a hint of it in the Marvels. You basically don't know. But again, I don't. Yeah, she's definitely not the queen at all. And I think that again, she's playing it. She has a role to play.
Like they made a big deal about them big blue eyes too, like the way they zoomed in on her face, like, oh man.
And somebody, but you know what? Somebody said something that I was like, you know what? I never thought of it that way, but this might actually be possible because, again, we know what happens in Secret Invasions, right? We know everything that happens at the very end. Now, we know that in this series and in the MCU currently right now, we don't have a Norman Osborn. We don't.
Oh, shit.
So, with that basically being said, I believe, and I firmly believe that this movie is going to be responsible. This show is going to be responsible for Harrison Ford, General Ross, becoming the president of the United States.
Oh, you think this president died? You think he died in the hospital?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Well, he's not dead
this
yet.
film.
I mean, it was a pretty lackluster execution.
Like, he's not dead yet.
Super Skull, he would have done a better job at assassinating him.
Yeah.
You just got to work on that.
Children of the
Yeah,
Atom
they
said,
can't.
I'd hit it. What? You smash the scroll. You smash the scroll. But yo,
Don't even
like,
have a acoustic. Like, so I don't know. We're gonna put it.
but
It'll be interesting to see.
Interested in everything. But no, listen, because again, yeah, I think that there could possibly be if they go down that road, because it would be interesting for them to bring in the Dark Reign in the Dark Avengers basically into the MCU.
That's what happened after Secret
It would be
Invasion, right?
dope
Dark
if they
Reign,
did that,
and then,
because the thing is, if you
It was
think
Dark
about
Reign with Norman Osborn and the
Right.
Dark
Yeah.
Avengers.
the Dark
Yeah.
Avengers. Yeah.
it would be interesting. Here's the thing, I'm not saying it, but I think that it's possible
It
that
really
could be a
could be.
reason. It
It
could
really
be.
could be.
I think
It could be.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
a
it
lot of
really, really could
implications
be.
from this show is set up, and the way it is, I think Ventessa might have a hand in it. You never really know. But there's so much going into this that they are setting it up. And again, we're only 2 episodes away. Like, we got 2 episodes left to find out what's going to really, really happen with this show. But
This new one, Lou, it's gonna be good. This next episode's
so
gonna be real
far,
good.
I mean, everything. Now, again, now we're left with another question. Is Talos dead, bro? Is he dead?
I really
didn't
hope
like how
not,
Sam
just because
had
Ben
to leave him on
Mendelsohn
the
is
ground.
such a good actor. I really, really hope not.
And I hope he's
Yeah.
not pissed at Nick for leaving him, but he had to leave him.
But at the same
If
time,
that
if
was
he is
him.
dead, it's a death that matters finally. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I hope he's not dead.
him
Bro.
and Colby Smulders as Maria Hill, those are deaths that, like,
Yeah.
feel you're like, fuck, man, I can't, like, there are stakes. And a show like this has to have stakes.
Cover your ears,
Otherwise-
Cover your ears, Vinny. Because
I mean, when he
on the
stabs
previews,
him,
you didn't
dude,
see
that
him.
was.
You didn't see him in the previews.
Well, they
I
would
don't
have.
They're not going to show you in the previews anyway.
Yeah,
if he
we'll
is.
see.
I hope he's alive, bro.
What I will say though, like, they're capturing the vibe that they needed to in this show
Mm-hmm.
to give us Secret Invasion, the comics. Obviously, there was a lot in that they couldn't do. Spider-Woman, Elektra, all that stuff. There was a lot they couldn't do,
Black Widow,
but they're
too.
still capturing the vibe
Mm-hmm.
that they needed to for this show to be successful. And there's that level of, MCU and comic synergy, like we were talking about earlier with Ms. Marvel, right? And the mutant aspect, like we were talking about, Lael, when I mentioned to you that. So Marvel just announced a new Thunderbolt series that's launching in a comic book series that's launching in December, and the team is led by Bucky Barnes.
Mhm.
All right, has and as like a kind of alliance is Contessa, Allegra. I always it drives me nuts with that. And Valentina, right?
Contessa
So-
like Valentina.
Got her. All right. It's got Black Widow. Obviously, she's dead in the MCU. But then Yelena, White Widow. All right.
Mhm.
It's also got Red Guardian and U.S. Agent, both of whom are in along with
The
Yelena
movie.
and Bucky and Contessa, all in this Thunderbolts movie. Right. We don't have Taskmaster because he's in another storyline in the comics right now.
What about the girl from Ant-Man?
Don't have Ghost, but
Ghost. Yeah.
then they also have in there Shang-Chi in this new book. And Shang-Chi has also been heavily rumored to be in the Thunderbolts, right? So we're seeing this synergy again when they're setting stuff up in the books and then it makes it on the big screen, or they're doing stuff on the big screen and then we see it filter into the books.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of that. And
Yeah.
this is like maybe not a 1-for-1 for Secret Invasion from the comics, but they're getting the right vibe, even though we don't have a lot of the characters that we would have liked to have had.
Yeah. And I think basically, like, Galactic J says, I am still thinking that Maria Hill is still alive. I know she's most likely not, but I'm riding that bus to the end.
I wish he was alive,
bro.
That
You know what?
First episode, bro, I was heartbroken.
We've been going through the
damn.
Marvel fake death thing for a while, so you never know until the very end. She could be riding this thing, and if she does, she pulled off the impossible of making
I hope
motherfuckers
Tony's
believe.
alive.
So you never know. It could possibly be. Shout out to my Uncle Keith out there, Toe Bar in the building. Thank you for being there.
I love the character, but I think she's dead like a crocodile hunter when he got stung by that stingray. I think.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. It's still too early. Still too early. I love the crocodile hunter, bro. Still too early, man.
Rest in peace, Steve Irwin.
You gonna say rest in peace?
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Back in the day, right? We were having a big house party at my boy's house, and we were doing a Halloween party. And this dude that we played baseball with back in the day, this was like literally like a month and a half after Steve Irwin died. Our buddy Jamie and his girlfriend came to the Halloween party, and Jamie was dressed as Steve Irwin, and he had like a blood stain on here, and his girlfriend came as a stingray.
That's
this was like a month and a half after this shit happened.
Man. That's not cool, bro.
The most shocking thing about his death was that people were shocked at his death.
I was shocked it didn't happen sooner.
His job is the crocodile hunter. I mean,
it's like he was playing Russian roulette with 5 bullets in the revolver. And
today, I mean, he's crawling on the ground with crocs. It's like
we apologize for our lovely friend.
Time out.
Booty butt cheek.
He said. Why he say after the fact?
He said had the nerve to say R.I.P. like 5
he
seconds
said rest
later,
in peace,
bro.
Steve.
It wasn't even 5 seconds, bro. This
Pour
dude,
one out for Steve Irwin.
Brenda is bro. It wasn't even 5 seconds, dog. You made a joke, and then
shit!
5 seconds later, bro.
Oh, that's fucked up.
I'm so done.
So so I have a
Let's
question.
close this show, dog. It's over.
I have questions. That's fucked up, Marler, bro. Come on, man. Crikey. Stop, bro. Like
y'all awful.
Stop,
y'all
bro.
Awful, bro.
Stop.
That's
Stop.
not
Oh my god.
Stop.
I'm in tears. Bro.
Like, bro.
You know the crocodiles are pissed. Like, so who finally got him? Wait, hold up.
That's
a
like
fucking stingray?
That's like when your biggest arch enemy is Doc Ock and you get got by Mole Man. It's like, nope, not Otto Octavius. You got taken out by fucking Mole Man.
Yo.
Or Leapfrog.
Yo.
Oh man.
That's fucked up.
Bro,
Damn.
I need a drink.
Damn. I'm hot now. Listen.
I can't tonight. Vinny
Yo,
been saying
motherfuckers,
shit
bro.
Brendan just
damn.
Oh man.
Damn. That's fucked up. Me too, bro.
I got a headache, bro.
Me too.
God,
I'm hot. Damn. Anyway.
Damn, dog. Damn, dog. Damn, man.
All right.
Oh man.
So anyway, we ended this show with
it's over. It's over tonight.
Here's the thing. I wonder how bad Gaia is going to feel after finding out that if he's dead, that her father is dead. And
Nick left him on the ground.
But after the exchange, the conversation that they had before, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because she was completely dismissive of her father.
Right.
I hated that conversation. It made no sense.
Yeah.
Like, you've known him this whole time. This whole time he's trying to figure out a way. And then just like that, she's like, yeah, I've been this double agent. And but now, like, after everything I did to help you, in this cause, really, I actually agree with him because you ain't doing shit either. And it's like, how do you not understand the logistics? Like, what the fuck is Talos supposed to do to find another planet?
Right.
He ain't Silver Surfer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like what you know what
really,
I mean?
What was Nick supposed to do? We're Earth, like regular Earth. We're not traveling galaxies yet.
He was depending on Captain Marvel ass, and she was out in space for fucking.
How come no one's mad at Captain Marvel? She's the one who can travel around.
They should be mad at her.
We still have the galactic training wheels on. We're not fucking zipping around all. We're not like fucking, pen pals with the Shi'ar Empire yet.
But Carol been around for 20-something years.
Doesn't make any sense.
And
she's been off-world for 90% of her time.
And she promised.
Why aren't you like, hey, where the fuck is Captain Marvel? Yeah, planet?
She was the one who made the promises, but you're mad at your father because he's doing everything he can. He brought millions of Skrulls to a planet, risking the identities, risking war. Basically because he wanted to actually have a sanctuary, and you're blaming him. You're right. That actually, and her getting up, walking away, I was like, yo, if I was him, I'd have snatched her the fuck up and be like, yo, bitch.
Right.
Yeah.
You are here because of me. Yeah.
And you had sex with your nephew, so you can't get to fucking
She what?
Game of Thrones. Jon Snow.
Scarlisi.
Too soon? What?
Okay.
We're not down with a little incest humor? Like that's where we're drawing the line?
Mahler said,
I knew the show was gonna get crazy.
I know, bro.
We got them She-Hulk numbers.
She asked for his plan and was like, nah, I'm out. Yeah, like literally, it really didn't. Again, I can't listen. I have to say this again. This show, like literally, is up there. Winter Came. It's funny. This show is literally up there as one of my favorites, if not.
It's one of the best.
It's one of the best shows.
Let the next 2 episodes don't fucking.
I know.
Let the next 2 episodes come out and then make that statement.
I know, but it is so far.
I'm there with you, though. I'm there with you. Yeah.
So far,
numbers.
I know.
32.
We don't talk about that shit. Hey, 32%. 32 motherfuckers like that shit though, bro. 32% of the motherfuckers.
I think it was 32 people.
32 people. Hey, 32 people enjoyed it, bro.
But we hating on She-Hulk, and 32 motherfuckers like.
Hey, so here's the thing. Another thing that I basically liked about this show, bro, again, is the aspect of the Super Skrull, and I'm glad that they're introducing that.
Yeah, that was dope.
I love that they are giving us aspect, and I don't think here's the thing. I did see a snippet of the next 2 episodes, a snippet of them, or one of it, something that they showed in there was an element. So I don't think there's even bigger scrolls. I can't wait to see this shit. I just cannot wait to see this next episode.
Perfect superpowers
to
go with when you don't have access to the Fantastic Four superpowers. They really did. Like, so it feels
despite the fact that him by himself should have soloed that whole army trying to stop him
and destroyed it. He should have killed everybody. But you know what? Let me ask. So with the extremist power, right? You know how in Iron Man 2, the fake Mandarin was what's his name? The guy that was in front of the head of AIM.
Killian in Iron Man 3.
Killian.
Yeah.
Didn't he throw some fire around too at Iron Man?
Yeah, he blew fire, bro.
Yeah.
He blew fire, right?
And he breathed fire and he healed from it. Yeah.
So why can't he be able to do that kind of shit like Johnny?
He did. He got shot in the face and healed.
Yeah, but he didn't throw no fireballs and nothing like that.
He's a Super Skrull, right? So he has multiple. We didn't get. He didn't
use all of his powers.
He hasn't used everything.
They wanted to show it.
You can't have him break out all of his powers right at the beginning. And the thing is, he could have beaten that whole army, right?
Yeah.
But if he did that, then it just plot-wise, it wouldn't have worked for what they needed to accomplish with Talos getting stabbed, with Fury getting the president out of there. So it's one of those things where you just kind of, he was slow playing it.
Yeah.
Because he never really felt like he was in danger at any point. But if he actually felt like he was in danger, he would have broke out all the Super Skrull powers and he would have killed everyone.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, we see Talos die or presumably die at the end of this episode. We don't know if that's basically what happened or not, but we see presumably that he was killed. you know, of course, Sam Jackson gets the president away, and that's, you know, how it actually ends.
Yeah.
But so far, I'm definitely on board with it. I think I think that myself, I think the pacing for the show is just where it needs to
It's
be.
excellent, man.
Yep.
It's just where it basically needs to be, and I'm definitely enjoying it. I'm enjoying just the simple fact that we're seeing a message within the show, but it's not something that's thrown down your throat. They're not doing it like deliberately for any particular reason, but it is there, and I love, that's what I basically love about it. You know, so I can't wait. I definitely, but my question is this. I have one really, really serious question that I have to ask, because you really like some of these things that we need to know. Vinny, if you woke up in the morning and you've seen everybody in that room green, bro, what would you do? Like, how would you react to that? If every hoe in your room was green, how would you react, bro?
Whole new roster. Anything you want.
I always have a gun by my bed locked in my little nightstand.
I mean,
you could even change it in the middle.
Exactly.
Yeah. I definitely
taste the rainbow, baby. Every color you want. Every pick those Skittles out, man.
You know the
bullets. Got too many bullets for that.
You know the black and white video of Michael Jackson? There you go.
Yo, motherfuckers, bro.
Have every twitch, you just change your face.
I swear to God, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm all right. Listen,
it's time to go, man.
It's time to go. Listen, it's been a great show out there, man. Like everything. Look, I can't wait to see Wednesday's episode. It's gonna be super dope. Thank you guys, everybody, actually, for hanging with us tonight. It's been incredible. Vinny, what you
Vinny and Brennan been on the roll all
Y'all
night.
Motherfuckers have been on the roll all night.
All night, dog.
Vinny, what you got going on?
Come on, man. Come on.
Coincidentally, working on recruiting some scrolls for the room, but aside from that, just got a major job out of the way today that now I should have some more free time. Looking forward to catching up on some reading, a lot of art, and you know, looking forward to getting back into more reading and a lot of art projects on the way. Got a con in August that I'll be talking about in the next few weeks, so I'll be working on preparing for that. And otherwise, just looking for more comic book talk with friends, Civilized Scoundrels, and Ahsoka's around the corner, and
hell yeah,
there's a lot of good stuff coming. So I'm excited for this this drought, this overwhelming lack of shows that we're apparently going through. Now I'm enjoying Secret Invasion. I'll be enjoying Loki. I'll be enjoying Ahsoka. So yeah.
The oversaturation of shows.
Yeah. So we're so overwhelmed with
oversaturated with shows.
Yeah. I think we're perfectly saturated.
Yeah, definitely perfectly saturated. So again, out there, bro, definitely Vincent Dunn Art. Make sure you actually subscribe. Make sure you basically head over, because the link to his store is in the actual on his page. So make sure you do that. My man Jedi Pimp Smack, Powder Smack King, bro. What's going on with you, bro?
I had a great tonight, man. I need this laugh, boy. Y'all boys. Jesus Christ. I'm waiting for us.
It's so fitting that he's got Padme just dying right behind him at the end of this.
This
just lost the will to live.
That fit. Y'all boys are crazy, bro. I'm waiting for Phoenix Shan to hit.
Nice.
I should get that Wednesday. I ordered this thing on eBay. This was it Papa Midnight or not Papa Midnight, but when he was in the suit.
Oh hell yeah! Is that the one from you ordered it from eBay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I got mine from Kit.
Yeah, ordered mine
once it's released from Kit. Yeah, definitely.
I should have it soon, but I wanted that head sculpt for that Moon Knight.
Yeah, this is gonna be crazy, bro.
That's gonna be dope. I'm gonna say I gotta pick up my books for Wednesday, and then that's it, bro. Work, and that's it, bro.
Yeah, bro. If you haven't already, Jedi Pimp on Instagram, make sure that you actually head over there, man. Master Sergeant. Make sure you do that.
Hilarious. Jesus.
And last but not least, butt naked, bro. Which
don't give him too long to say nothing, man.
I know, bro.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No,
I told Leah I'd share these real quick. I just picked up some books at my favorite shop. Only one Daredevil book this time around, but it's one of my favorite covers. So Daredevil number 54, Mr. Fear appearance. So I love that. I had it in my collection forever ago, didn't have it now for a while, and I finally was like, you know what, I'm going to pick this up before he shows up in the MCU and it blows up and I have to pay way more for it.
I have that book.
So X-Men number 4, first appearance of Omega Red.
Yeah.
I had it forever ago, and then I just didn't have it anymore. This
I have that one.
I picked this one up for like $5, and it's actually worth like $30 right now. But like the '89 Batman comic, and the art in it is so good. It looks dead on to rights.
I had the graphic. I had the trade for that. It's incredible.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's a good book.
And then I picked up this. You might have seen it on my Instagram. This is a Bill Sienkiewicz Bullseye cover that is just. I fucking love this cover so much. So grab that, and then Captain America 600 black and white sketch variant signed by and numbered by Alex Ross. So
nice.
I picked that up.
Bro.
It's just this thing is so fucking good. And then at the same thing, we were at it was the signing with Larry Stroman. You've probably, if you've been a fan of the X-Men and X books in general, then you've seen his work because he basically did the whole redesign of the X Factor team back in the 90s. He was responsible for that, and he was selling prints. And so what I did not realize at the time, because he was like, I got a book signed and then I got a print, and he's like, just pay me what you want. And I was like, all right. So I paid him $100. I did not realize until I left, or I was leaving, that it's not a print. It's actually an original art piece. So that I dramatically underpaid him for, because he's so nice. So I'm going to rectify that, because he actually lives only like 20 minutes from me.
That's cool.
But this black and white Elektra as Daredevil is phenomenal. And so this is definitely the next piece I'm getting framed and put up on the wall.
Wow.
Because this thing is beautiful. I love this thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So huge fan of that. And I got to talk to him for a while. It was really, really cool. So I figured tonight we can end with this one question that I'll just pose, and everybody can kind of let it percolate, and then come back next week, and maybe we can discuss it. Larry Stroman, longtime artist for Marvel and Indies Image bunch. He said, he surprised me saying what he thought the single worst thing to happen to comic books was ever. And it's interesting given one of the movies that we have coming up, probably like 3 or 4 years out now at this point. He said the single worst thing to happen to comic books ever was Secret Wars.
What?
So think about that. And next week we can maybe give our feelings on that, and I'll explain what he said his reasoning was for it next week.
That's one of the dopest stories in comics, though. Like, really?
Just think about it. Think about its impact, and we'll talk about it next week.
Okay.
Well, I know the reason why they basically created Secret, which we'll talk about.
Wait, which Secret Wars?
The first one.
The first one.
Yep, he said Secret Wars was the single worst thing to happen for the comic book industry.
Is he talking as far as merchandising?
Nope.
Okay, because that was one of the reasons why they did it. Merchandising.
Yeah.
It shocked the hell out of me. And then he explained his reasoning, and I was like, I can kind of agree with part of it. I don't know if I agree with it outright. But I definitely agree with part of what his reasoning was, because
that book was phenomenal. I'm kind of We'll you know what? We'll table this discussion. We'll come back next Monday. So tune in next Monday, everybody. Next week, we'll basically go into this same time, same channel. We'll actually go into this. So just tune in next week. We'll talk about it, because that's interesting, and I do want to hear that.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
Why? Because that's interesting. But thank you guys for being here. What do I got? I mean, what's coming up? Nothing really. Let's say what Wednesdays, of course. Say what Wednesdays. Figure Flex Friday, definitely.
Twister Tuesdays.
I get who is it? Costa Reeves shows up tomorrow as well
Fridays.
as Crosshair. So I have those. But other than that, nothing else. Again, I'll be diving into. I got like some comics that I have to definitely read. So I'll be doing that within the next couple of days. But everybody out there, basically, again, make sure you support your local brick and mortar. Physical media is on point.
Comics.
Digital, it's out there, but don't cheat yourself. Get physical media, smell those pages, support those artists, because that's how they're getting paid. And we don't want any more strikes other than what's happening right now. So please support your artists and the content that they actually give us. But again, thank you guys for being there. Until next week.
See you in a while, crocodiles.
We trying to finish, bro. We trying to finish, bro.
We just end. We can just end with another Toya original, Scrolls Before Hose.
Indubitably.
Did she say that for real?
She did.
Look in the chat, man. She hashtagged that shit.
Yeah.
Damn, babe. We'll have this conversation when I get off. Peace,
Life's about options.
Yo, so
motherfuckers out there think we've been smoking some weed tonight. I don't. God. Peace, y'all. We out.
Baskin Robbins has 32 flavors.
Oh my god, man.